What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the locker room. I am your host and your favorite Kansas City girl, Kennedy Bright. And as always, what is said in the locker room stays in the locker room. Get your playbooks ready, guys. What is good, rookies? Welcome back to the locker room. Welcome back to another episode. In this week's episode, we are going to be discussing where have I been, what have I not been posting, exciting life updates, my plans for 2023, and kind of like looking back at 2022 and really just kind of, being vulnerable again and kind of just updating you guys more, most importantly, but not just that, but also kind of ending my year. When you guys will hear this, this will be at the very end of the year. And I really want to kind of end my year on a good note. And yeah, let's talk about it. This year has been a long one and an interesting one. And I've hit a lot of things from you guys. And so it's time that I discuss them. You feel me? Okay. So now let's get into it. So, first off, I want to say if you're watching on YouTube, you probably see that like where I am. I right now am in a hotel room, which we're going to get into why I'm in a hotel room right now on, December 27th. We're going to talk about it. But that's the setup. If you're wondering like what this dresser and stuff is, yeah, I'm in a hotel room. First off, where have I been, you guys? So the bottom line is the reason I have not been posting is because I have been working. We'll just say that. Just give you an idea of like, girl, where you been? That's number one. I actually had a reason for why I have not been posting, why I've been ghosting you guys and all that. Actual reason. Originally, before I was gonna not, have time to post anymore, I was gonna make a video, a podcast episode, just announcing it, just letting you guys know. And then life got ahead of me and drove me crazy for a second. So I didn't get a chance to like really create the episode or anything to let you guys kind of know, like, hey, I won't be, around for about 6 weeks. I did on TikTok. I posted a TikTok video explaining that I was gonna be gone. But yeah, so I started a new career recently. I'm a flight attendant. That's all I'll say. We'll talk about the rest of it later. But I am now a flight attendant. I was in training for the past 6 weeks. I literally graduated a week ago today. So yeah, yay me. To talk about just the job itself, I applied for this job back in May. Didn't hear anything back. Heard back in August. And in August, did a virtual interview. Then after my virtual interview, like a week later, they wanted me for face to face. That was in September. Went in for my face to face, got the job September 15th. We'll never forget. Got the job, but did not go to training until November 9th. So yeah. So that was another thing. If people knew technically that I was in Kansas City, I never really shared where I was. People are like, where are you? Like, people never know. If I'm in KC, if I'm in Dallas, you never know because it's no one's business. I'm just playing like my friends don't even know, is what I mean. And I just didn't talk about it because I didn't know if I was gonna get the job. Not only do you get the job, you still have to go through 6 weeks of training, which we'll get into all of that. So, for me, I want to make sure that this was a done deal, that it was set before I ever talked about it or anything like that. So, like, no one really, like, had an idea. I did not get an apartment or anything or in Dallas because I didn't know where I was gonna be based, and we'll get into that too. So, yeah, I was back in KC, took my car, all my things back to KC, and I just did not know this process was gonna be, like, this long. It was about 8 months or so long. Like I said, it was from May to literally graduating in December 20th. So that tells you, like, it was a very long process. So I've been kind of very all over the place in, this year, and that kinda gives you a backstory. So when I talk about, like, how I've been feeling mentally and everything with 2022, you'll get an idea. I have been at work training, starting a new career, and I don't know if I've ever really talked about my aspirations for life or my passions or things like that. As you guys know, I love being a content creator. I love creating content. I love sports and just all that. I did go to college for sports broadcasting. Like that was my like, major and everything. I see myself being a content creator, but I've never wanted it to be my 1000% like my full-time job as an aspect of like that's my only income because I like it so much. I want to be able to enjoy it as a passion and make income off of it. That's great, but I never want it to be where I'm ever stressed about it because that's my only source of income. That just was not my thing. So when it comes to what I've wanted to do with my life, originally it was always being a sports broadcaster. That was my thing. That's what I want to do. Then I found the avenue of social media that I could do sports and all that in a different way. So I was like, bet, why not do it that way? So I started that route. And me being, like I said, being a full time content creator with that stress or pressure for myself, I don't know if that's really fit for me. As in, that's like I said, like that's my only income. I don't know about that. So it got to a point where that's something I wanted. I got into real estate school. So this January, I have not talked about this either. I got into a brokerage in Dallas, one of the top, not the number one brokerage in Dallas. got into real estate school, but because of everything else going on in my life, which we'll talk about, I could not focus on that at all. I've had so much going on this year that I've never shared. How do I say it? So that was another thing. I wanted my real estate income. I've been in real estate school. More so, I think too, that one I didn't speak a lot about was because I would think I was more so doubting myself. Like, am I able to do it? Am I smart enough? Can I, it's self-paced teaching, like all of those things. And that's more why I didn't share that. That wasn't like a huge secret. Like it didn't need to be a secret, is what I'm trying to say. But when it came to that, my goal was to have real estate be my income, that be my work, my quote unquote job, while social media is still making some nice cheddar off of it. It is still my passion that I make money off of, that I still have time to do that from being able to, still know my bills and everything are set and paid for through real estate, if that makes sense. With real estate, when you're starting out, like you have to build your clientele, all those things. I'm still learning Dallas and everything. That's not like my part. No, I'm not from there. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Let's get that correct. I'm not from Kansas. I hate when people say that. Do not ever say I'm from Kansas. But anyways, so I need something else because right now I basically have two careers that I'm working on, that I'm doing. That one, the social media one, it does take time to really take off the way you want it. It also takes me putting forth 1,000% of my effort. So that's also that. And real estate, something that has to be built. So I needed something that I was able to do right now that would not interfere with either one of those things, that still would give me the space to not be wore out. So I could still create podcasts, still edit, do all these things, and also still be able to, be a real estate agent. How it came to flight attendant, I have no clue. There are a few things in my life that have are choices I've made, and I don't know who put them in my brain or where it came from. And I always say those are choices and decisions made from God. And flight attendant was one of them. One of our friends in our friend group in Dallas, she's a flight attendant, but I never talked to her about it. I just knew that's what she did, and I just was like, okay, cool. But I never like went after it or looked at it. I don't know, it was a God thing. I applied to one company. None of the major ones were hiring. So they call them mainline is what it's called. And in America, you have a big three. There are three airlines that are the big ones. I'll just say that. I work for one of the big threes. I don't want to say I work for the number one. I'll say that. There you go. And I'm gonna get into why I don't want to share like my career or what I do. But then there are also airlines that are regional airlines, which are just smaller airlines. And the girl that I knew, she worked at the time for the smaller airline. So I applied, I got it really fast. And I don't know, to me, it was kind of weird. I wasn't really feeling the vibe. I applied in April. So I was going to training on May 24th. I applied in April. I was living with Kinsey at the time. At the end of the month, I had to get a passport, everything. So I was moving back home. My dad was flying down to Dallas. We were driving my car, taking all my stuff back to Kansas City. Okay. So we're taking my things back there. It's literally the day I'm supposed to leave. I find out like I'm not it was a whole bunch of weirdness with them not communicating. Long story short, I'm not going to training anymore. I have now quit my job in Dallas, turned down other jobs that I had in Dallas for this job, this regional airline, uprooted my whole life. I don't have an apartment. I have no home anymore. I am now staying at my great grandmother's house, which she lives in senior citizens place, so you're not allowed to be there longer than so many days, so many weeks or whatever. So I'm like, where the hell, excuse my language, but where the hell am I gonna go? I really like it blew my mind. I still have the real estate that I started, but at this point, like I can't even think about the real estate and studying and comprehending any of that because right now I'm like income. I have a car payment, I have insurance. Like, what am I gonna do? So it was a very stressful time. I was very pissed off. They would not answer the phone, like nothing, like you're emailing me, like it was not professional, like it was terrible. It was not a professional company at all to me, in my opinion. So I then, applied to I almost said the company I work for. That exact day, as I found out, my brother calls me, he's like, "What is going on?" Like, "What do you mean you're not going?" I'm, like, trying to explain to him. At that moment, I'm applying to this company, the company that I work for now. So that's why I know it's May 24th. I never will forget the day I applied because that was the day I was supposed to start training, leave to start training for this new career. I mean, for this other company. So I am just all over the place. This whole summer, everything has been a pretty shitty year, to be honest, for me. The year went by really fast, and I feel like it went by fast and not a lot of things happened. It went from that to me finding out, like, someone who I saw myself being with forever, all things like this, he found out he's having a baby with someone else. Mind you, I didn't find that out from him. Um, it was on social media. whole nother thing. Still to this day, I've never talked to him about it, and I refuse to talk to him about it. I have nothing to say to him. So this whole summer from May to August, 1,000%, my life was pretty much up in the air. I had no clue what I was doing. At this point, by August, I ended up getting COVID. I told y'all about that. I ended up getting COVID. I'm a very careful person. My family went back to Mississippi. That's where my family's from. And they all got COVID. And then I got it. So I get COVID. I have no clue what I'm doing. It's hard for me to find jobs now. All the jobs that I had applied to originally before I turned them down, like in Dallas, they're no longer hiring anymore. I'm like, what am I going to do? You need pay stubs within 30 days. You need pay stubs in order to get an apartment. Okay. But I need a place to stay in order to go to Dallas. My friend Lindsay, she was moving to Dallas in August. Like, y'all, my life was just insane. I was going through it. I think I was posting a little bit at that time too, when it comes to like podcasts a little bit. But I kind of distracted myself because football season started. So I started back with like my football content, started creating that, and that kind of made me feel a little bit better, kept me feel like I was going to my goals. At the beginning of 2022, I had a lot of high ambitions, a lot of set goals for myself, which when I said I'll do like my 2022 recap, I'll talk about that. So starting to really regrow my TikTok platform, my sports for the girls, really made me feel a little bit better. And then finding out about this job, it was literally the funniest thing was I tried to apply for unemployment and I got denied by the state of Texas. I'm like, are you kidding me? How did I get denied? I get denied. The day I go to look and find out I got denied is the day that I saw I got the interview. It was from my company. I almost said their name again. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's like the day I keep getting rejected for stuff is the same day I'm getting things from God. And it was just like amazing. So you guys, if you cannot tell, like thinking back to it, I never want to be in that place again. I never want to feel those things again. It was just the worst experiences. I was trying to study hard for my real estate, but I was very depressed. I was very down bad. Like I felt like I was so defeated. I mean, this year in the beginning was supposed to and was going it was going well, going to plan, and it just tanked within actually a few couple of weeks of January. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it was bad. So like this year, it feels like a blur and it almost feels as if like, did it even exist? So yeah, I was really hurt. I was very down bad this year, you guys, and I never like said it. I think I did briefly, but I was. I finally fast forward, we get to training, and training is for 6 weeks long. It's 6 weeks, about 10-hour days, which I'm used to because when I used to work at Amazon, I worked 10-hour shifts. And so now I feel like it's nothing to me. I had some training was interesting. I will just say that. Not the training itself, but my experiences that I had at training were very interesting. We're going to just say that. But the training itself was great. I When it comes to like my instructors, I love them to death. Oh my goodness, like thinking about them makes me want to cry. I had some great instructors. I had like a lot of great people in my class, a lot of people that I'm still friends with. We still talk to this day, although it's literally been a week. Oh my God, my battery's dying, you guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. It's probably gonna cut out, but I'm sorry. I'll put a picture up. Training was, like I said, it was great. Graduation was great. I met a lot of great people. I feel like when I was at training, in some ways I did grow a little bit. Um, I was so busy, I was so distracted. I mean, you're up about 5:30 every day, leaving at 5:30 or you're awake at 5:30 because your bus comes to get you at like 6:45. Like you're up early, I'm at training all day and it's just moving, it's moving. I didn't have time to really process like guys that I didn't hear from that I was talking to, or time to process like why hasn't he texted me? I didn't even realize like one of the guys I really liked, I hadn't heard from him in like 4 days. Like none of that stuff like I had noticed because I realized the busier I am, the less I have time to worry about outside things or worry about guys or anything like that. That was something that I noticed. And so they said when you come to training, like it changes you and you grow and all these things. And I was kind of nervous because I feel like I get told a lot of times from people in my life, guys, friends, whatever, like, oh, I'm the same person. I never change. I never grow. And so I was kind of like, dang, of course I'm not going to change and I'm not going to be different. But I do find like little ways that I did change and I did grow in training. And that was amazing for me. So that's just a little bit on that front. In training, I find out that I did not get based in Dallas. that was a really huge hard pill to swallow. I am now based in Chicago. Did I put in my transfer? I put in my transfer yesterday, and I missed the deadline for the March one, and I'm very devastated. But I genuinely wanted to try Chicago. I did, you guys. We could have put our transfer in back when I was in training. Our teachers would help you do it, but I said I wanted to give Chicago a chance. I wanted to, and for a lot of reasons, Chicago's just not gonna work out for me. Like, it's not. Chicago itself as in the city is fine, but when it comes to my job being at O'Hare at the airport and traffic and how far decent living and stuff is from the airport, that's the part that's a problem. So, like I said, it's a lot of it. Me and my sister, we get here, when I first arrive, they lose my luggage. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And we're still in less than 24 hours. Me and my sister get in a car accident in a lift. That honestly was like pretty a little like traumatizing a little bit for for me especially. I won't speak for my sister, but for her too. And I was just kind of over the city. The housing part was just becoming a huge issue and stuff. And so I said, you know what? Another girl was here who was in she was in my class, but not in my group. We were split into 2 groups during training, and she was like, "Okay." She already put her transfer in and talked about it, so I said, "Forget it." I put my transfer in. I did it yesterday. I figured it out. So, I hopefully by April will be moved back to Dallas. But right now I'm in Chicago. That's where I'm living. That is where I am right now. Yeah. And it's really been testing a lot for me, my mental health in the aspect of like, I'm very big on feeling comfortable where I am and feeling adjusted, and I didn't have a chance to. You go from training to your base and or home, you have 5 days. And so I didn't get a chance to really adjust or get a feel for Chicago or my area or where I'm at. But the next thing I want to talk about is the whole why I will not be posting my job, posting my career, posting like my in uniform, not doing flight attendant vlogs, all that kind of stuff. I will continue to do my regular vlogs that I always do. So if I'm on a trip or whatever, you'll know about it, things like that. But the thing is, I feel like personally, I have my own brand. I am my own brand already before I start this career. And I like the thing I love about being a content creator, social media influencer, whatever you wanna call it, is the ability to be able to say the things that I wanna say and not be censored. And the minute that I put my company on my platforms, I then have to censor and watch what I say because I now also represent the company. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, I want that separate. There's a lot of people out here who their image and their platforms is them being a flight attendant. That is not mine. That's just a career I have. That's something that I do that I love to do. We can talk about one day why I love it. And although I haven't started quote unquote officially working, there are things that I do love about it into why I picked it, if that makes sense. But that is some people's brand is being a flight attendant. I'm a mainline flight attendant, like those things, that's their brand. That's not my brand. And I've never talked about any of the jobs I've ever worked before on any of my platforms. But this one I don't want to. Also, too, it's kind of a safety thing for me. I've dealt with stalkers and issues with people in the past. So for me, I want to keep myself as safe as possible. I actually do so far, I love this career. I do love the company I work for. I like what I'm able to do. I like the fact that I'm able to, fly and make money, and it's like I'm making money, but I get to interact with so many people, which is what I love so much and impact people. I like that I'm able to do that, but I also like that I'm also still able to have time during layovers while I'm waiting to board, whatever the case may be, to brainstorm my next content ideas, to edit my content, to export my content, to promote my content. Like I still have time, so it's not taking up my whole life. And the aspect of what's important to me is like my social media and things like that. I'm still able to have that avenue. I'm able to, when I'm in different cities, talk about great bars or clubs, not clubs, but maybe clubs, brunch places to watch, NFL, NBA games. Like I'm able to really kind of like expand my content in a way and still have time for it, which is why I love this career. And I like that I'm able to kind of, mix and match and do both. But the minute I put this company on my, social media, I then have to watch what I say, what I do. And I think it's going to make me, it already has a little bit, but I feel like it'll make me a better content creator because I'm going to feel less stressed about creating content because I know my bills are getting paid and I can worry about my mental health in a better aspect with not stressing about social media and having more time to really create content. Like I said, I hope this made sense, you guys. I'm very hype motivated for myself. I want this for myself. I want better for myself. Demand better for myself. I demand to be in a better place. And I want you guys to look back at the end of 2023 when we're in December of 2023. And I hope and pray, and I not hope and pray. I hope and pray, and I know because I am putting it out there. I know that you will see a difference in me. You'll see a difference in my content, and you'll see a difference in the person that I am that I'm putting out there. I'm working on myself from the inside out. I have a healing journal right now that I'm working on that I want to drop for you guys. Um, all about it's just healing in general, about learning my bad traits, learning, you know, mistakes in my past relationships or things I should have walked away from. It's me writing to God about the man that I want in my life and about it's all of those things, you know? And so it's for me and I want you guys to also share in that. I want to grow my digital content. I want to grow my sports content. I want to grow my merch. Like I want to grow everything that I have and take everything to the next level. And I want you guys to hold me accountable. I want you to be there. When you don't hear a podcast, you need to contact me. 9 times out of 10 in the past, I'm usually down bad, I'm depressed or whatever. I don't want that for myself anymore. I will learn to get up on my own, but I would love for some accountability. Thank you guys so much. As always, be sure to follow us on the Instagram. Like follow us on the Instagram at KC Locker Room Talk. You can get our merch on KCLockerRoomTalk.com. And of course, all my platforms are Kennedy Bright 24. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being with me. If you have stayed here even after not hearing from your girl from like 8 weeks, I appreciate you. I love you and I love your support. Always give me your feedback. It helps me have an idea of what content you want, how I'm doing, whatever. DM me on the podcast Instagram because I look at that Instagram way more than I look at my personal one. So thank you. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.